So today we are going to talk about the security concerns, all right? And you know what? You can get us on WhatsApp line again, 0733222105. Also, you can call us 0748999111 on all our socials at Spotty FM Kenya right there. And just even before we go to that, Hezbon, Joe ambia Hezbon, sisi Arsenal hatusumbui ni juu tuko wengi. Hezbon wakibeba ligi, we were not, we won't feel juu they are 6 of them. Hezbon, Churchill, MCA Tricky, Austo, Samiro na Arab Uria.
Kai na mesabu 6. I can tell you for a fact. Mimi niko na list. Chelsea fans kwani uonangi around Jose unawajua? Tukiamua as Chelsea fans that we are not operational for the next couple of hours,
trust me,
the country won't move.
Yeah, we'll tell you all due respect hata tuonekana hapo bana. According to what you have said,
Chelsea fans tuko wengi sana.
And also, so as we're going on with our countdown, we're talking about the security concerns. And remember, we are live also on Facebook and also on YouTube. The security concerns that are there, and also the measures. So the 2026 World Cup faces massive, unprecedented security challenges due to its scale across 16 cities in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Key threats include sophisticated drone attacks, some of the threats that can be there, global cyber attacks, and potential border control issues. And geopolitical risks. When you talk about geopolitical risks, there's no one who has suffered more than the Iranian football team.
Yeah.
All right. So when you're talking about, when you're breaking it down to some of these threats that are there, for example, cyber attacks, a global broadcast event such as the World Cup is a major target for state and independent hackers aiming to disrupt ticketing, stadium operations, or transport networks. And ukweli?
Yeah, it's true, it happens. Because unajua,
imagine one cyber attack moja ya the transporting system between New York and New Jersey.
And that's going to be
hapo MetLife.
It should never happen, and of course you don't want it to happen because you need to put security measures, but you have to anticipate some of these things.
Ukienda Mexico, Azteca, 60,000 people, you disrupt the transporting system by one cyber attack. Ama a message that you know what, we are under attack, unatumia kila mtu kwa simu yake.
And these things happen, by the way.
Yeah.
These things happen.
So these are some of the security concerns.
There was also, you remember when we were having the Open in Mexico?
Right.
What was it called? The name imekata kuja. You remember when there was the attack between the rebels, wanaitwa gwaje?
What?
The cartels.
During the cartels times, yes. When they took over even back at the airport. Yes.
At the airport. Isn't that a security risk?
It is a security concern, but they sorted it out.
But from a point of a fan, I'm looking at it, I'm like, will I really travel to a country like Mexico if there's such things happening?
But did you see afterwards the cartel actually gave out a message and they said, you know what, we do not have an intention of interfering with tourists coming into our country to enjoy the World Cup.
Yeah, and actually saw that Mexico plans to deploy 100,000 security personnel during World Cup.
During the World Cup.
So they're trying to enhance the security. And that's been a worry, by the way. I was seeing a lot of conversation online. You remember when Nicolette was particularly showing us incidences of gunmen coming out and shooting people to randomly in several states in the USA, which are going to host the World Cup.
So that is a concern.
That's a security concern.
It is a security concern. And then also at the same time, immigration and civil liberties. We have seen what has happened here. How many African countries were banned from going to the US? So and how many of those are in the World Cup?
Because African countries, there's Haiti.
There's Haiti, for example.
There's Iran that we know now the standoff currently on
Iran,
between USA and Iran.
As of yesterday,
umefungulia Strait of Hormuz.
Hey bro, nikikuwa nimefungulia Strait of Hormuz, my friend. Parking sigiko imejaa. Say me, I'm relying on Chelsea, if you know.
Wah! John nimekwambia kitu utaacha kuisema sahi. Stay guided.
So the US political climate and mass deportation policies have sparked international concerns. Civil rights groups have issued travel warnings regarding potential racial profiling and detention.
Yeah.
Remember, however, the US government established the ICE truce, confirming that ICE agents will not operate inside or around stadium entrances. Juu hapo clearly kutakuwa na shida. Haya. Umekumbuka some of the African states that we know of, waliambiwa niaje lazima wekeleka deposit.
I think that was also waived for this particular period of time. Also umesema something very important, racial profiling. There is also the racial profiling. And you know, World Cup, everyone is traveling. Joe na travel hadi?
No, nitakuwa hapa na wewe bro. Nitakuwa hapa na wewe.
but ningetaka utravel. But anyway.
Ndo nisirudi ndo nisikwambie manze siwezi survive na Chelsea. I can see what you're trying to do right there.
You keep your enemy far away.
No, you're supposed to keep your enemy closer.
No. Particularly for you. And your hate for the Chelsea FC fans.
I do not
who do some very good business in Nairobi.
Me, I love the Chelsea FC fans. Without them, the economy does not operate.
But you see that racial aspect here, racial profiling, is going to be a very big risk for people who are traveling. You also don't want to go and then have a bad experience. You want also inclusivity.
Think about it: broadcasting, live events, setups. So logistical and supply chain exploits are there also, whereby the rapid scaling of infrastructure has raised concerns about illicit supply chains hiding human trafficking fronts behind legitimate World Cup contracts and services. Unasema unaleta manze vitu za study, kumu umejaza huko nyuma ma immigrants.
Yeah, alafu kuna also the issue ya wanakwambia you're going to get a job, maybe you know there is the volunteering job that's happening in right now in the USA, in Mexico and in Canada. So unaambiwa maybe this is a contract that we're going to give you, this is the job that we're going to do. Unafika huko unapata it's a human trafficking nini. So if those measures are being put in place to make sure that such things don't happen, because people need to get the assurance that they're going to be safe and they're going to enjoy the football and the culture and everything that comes with the World Cup.
But you know, now the good thing is that those were the security concerns. Now the measures that have been taken are correct. That's what we are going to, especially pale kwa stadium and event operations, access control and bag policies. This is what they have gone into, where they have said rigorous clean bag only policies, metal detectors and pat downs at stadium entries and official fan zones. Itabidi, because you know you're going into different countries. Canada have their own laws, USA have their own laws. I mean, for the USA, it's in their constitution to bear arms, but it's not allowed to go to such areas with your defensive weapon. So these are some of the things that they are doing to curb that. Also, soft target protection. Now, this is a visible deployment of heavily armed officers.
Wait, umesema heavily?
Nimesema heavily.
Okay.
Bro, usikiliza kwanza
the top. Heavily, but go on.
Bro, usikiliza kwanza, you know what, sawa. Unataka kushine na heavily?
No.
Shine nayo.
Nata which is very important.
Soft target protection. Visible deployment of heavily armed officers, K9 units and mounted patrols to protect areas with large pedestrian gatherings. Now, two ways to that. They are non-aggressive. According to, this is from the Philadelphia Times, they will be non-aggressive, but they will be placed there for your own security. So basically, ni kuona, in slang, it's called FAFO. So, mess around and find out. Basically. And then another thing that is going to counter now cyber attacks and all other sort of digital attacks is surveillance tech. Extensive use of stadium security cameras, remote monitoring, and police drones for crowd surveillance to prevent unauthorized airspace breaches. What you said.
Yeah, and I think there's also going to be some intelligence in terms of, and I think the US and Mexico and Canada are already putting measures into it, that there needs to be intelligence who's coming to the pitch. Kutakuwa hadi na maybe some fans who will be undercover and all that, just to make sure that safety. And you know, you're guaranteed, even the drones that you're talking about here, very important. Iweze kuona maybe some few kilometers away from the stadium what's happening.
Good. And if you think about it also, at the same time, you know, everyone views America, land of the brave and home of the free. Meaning that, you know, you go there, you can live what you call the American dream. So, yes, they are at their liberties to say, tunaweza kubali watu wengi wakam, then watu wengi wakose kurudi.
Mbona unatoa asiri?
Tuseme tu kweli. Tuseme tu kweli.
Kuna watu wanafika huko unaona wow.
Bro, there are certain countries if they host the World Cup, hata coach ataenda your country.
You know Eritrea actually Eritrea didn't play Eritrea. Yeah, it's Eritrea or Djibouti, one of the two countries. Their players they withdraw from some of these qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers, because whenever their players go to another country hawazirudi. Now that's in Africa.
Yeah, but
so we make it kwenda USA.
Bro,
ama Canada unafika hivi
rudi na hiyo ndege peke yako. So to combat that, which is the border security and travel, what they have done, the measures is a visa vetting. Consulates treat international visitor visa decisions as critical national security evaluations. So for example, uko na job huku, uko na familia hapana, ama ndio, okay, sawa. They try and look at the importance of you coming back rather than staying there. What does it cost you to live here? What's the cost of living your life here and going to another country?
How do they evaluate that?
Bank statements, property if you have in the country, sawa. Also family, also work. So if you're working here, definitely you're not going to squander a good job when uko uanze from scratch. Secondly,
so wait, kama sina jobs kidogo itakuwa tatizo?
Hey, bro.
Kama sina pesa kwa bank kidogo tatizo.
Unaenda kusurvive aje?
Sasa kama mimi mwenye sina familia.
Familia ni sawa, it's neither here nor there. But hizo zingine tatu ni very important.
Golai.
So kama una do unaenda kufanya nini huko?
Sina kutafuta pesa huko. Si usaidie.
Sasa hawataka we endelea huku. We huko enda kuone football rudi.
The business I can do during the World Cup. Naweza uzia njugu kwa stadium. Ama wataki hiyo? Na Mugombero kwa stadium.
Hesbon nono umeenda matournament mingi za sevens pale ya RFU. Unaona ule mzee anatuziaga njugu kila saa.
Alafu
na anakuongelesha kwanza vizuri, anakuingisha box, then anakuuzia njugu hata ya 50 hata ya 70.
Hey, this is what we are used to. Uko waizi taka hiyo?
Bro, unless sasa uniambie uko na kazi in Minnesota, kuna ka factory kake, unaenda huko unachukua ziko packed unaenda kuziuza.
Kazi ni huko. Hata nilikuwa nishapanga. Nilikuwa nishaeka mikakati.
I think kwanza wewe any guy from Kisii akienda Minnesota huko ni clean.
Huko ni home.
Visa kuna story. Huko ni Ena Airways. Kuna Ena Airways, Nyamira Airways. And then also other things that they are looking out for is customs operations, coordinated efforts by Border Patrol and customs agencies like the US CBP, streamlining travel while actively monitoring threats across air, land, and sea. Remember, America has been a country that has been targeted so many times by, extremist terrorists. So this is something they have to look into. Then also there's the idea of intelligence and behind the scenes measures. This is something they have introduced. Much of the security network operates behind the public eye to mitigate high level risks. For example, countering trafficking. Bro, trafficking. Kama hata inafanyika hapa Kenya, then huko una imagine
hapa Kenya. And even if you remember the incidences where we had Kenyans participating in the Ukraine-Russia war, that some of these people are being lured in the wrong way. There's a good contract.
We have seen what's happening in the Middle East also at the same time.
Well.
So countering trafficking, specialized law enforcement units focus on covertly combating human trafficking and intellectual property rights, IPR violations, because that's something big that is happening there. So another thing, cyber security vile ulikuwa umesema earlier on, hackers na kila kitu. So protection of critical digital infrastructure kama ticketing systems. Imagine mmefika hapo nje ya study system iko corrupt.
Nyinyi wote hakuna mnakuwa nini? Kunakuwa na stampede
mbaya sana.
So it's very important kwanza for that part, the digital aspect of
the cyber security,
because it can really cost you. Ama unaambia vile ulisema kutakuwa na attack hapa kwa hizi train ama the rams.
Imagine mtu atume message kwa everyone in that train.
Everyone doesn't panic mode kila mahali.
60,000 people MetLife Stadium. Kabla wajaingia stadium wanatumia messages. So they have to combat that through the cyber security right there. And then obviously joint exercises by the different task force from the different states operating in Canada, the USA, and also in Mexico. So those are the security measures that have been taken by not only FIFA but the hosting countries to make sure that the people who are attending these games enjoy the World Cup, and more importantly, security is manned both on and off the pitch and also in the cyber attacks right there. What do you think are some other measures that could be employed by FIFA and the hosting nations in terms of security for the World Cup? Our number is 0733 222 105. Also, you can call us through 0748 999 111.
I cannot believe you've done it again!
The Kickoff on Sporty FM.